Hello again, basketball fans. Welcome to this edition of Hardwood Classics on NBA TV. I'm Rick Kamla. The Chicago Bulls had won back-to-back championships, but the New York Knicks were the top seed in the Eastern Conference coming into the 1993 playoffs. New York showed they were not intimidated by the Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals, winning the first two games at home. The Bulls would not go quietly into the night, winning Game 3 by 20 points back in Chicago. With a pivotal Game 4 ahead, Michael Jordan and the Bulls look to send the series back to New York, tied 2-2.
When the ball goes up, you'll see a darker basketball this afternoon, meaning that it's been used more. There was a complaint last game. They used the ball that was too new, too slippery. You can tell immediately this one has seen a few games already.
Yes, the Chicago Bulls did not like the basketball that was used right at the start the other day. The Knicks controlling the tip. And Doc Rivers comes across against B.J. Armstrong. Bill Cartwright, Patrick Ewing battling for position. John Starks hits the three to get it going. Well, John Starks, who did not have a good one here on Saturday, able to connect on his first attempt. Michael Jordan with the hesitation move. Goes to the jump shot. And it's batted out of bounds. Last touch by Starks.
Michael Jordan did not come out and shoot here in the stadium prior to the game as he did just before Game 3, but he did go to their complex, their workout facility, and get some shooting in this morning.
Michael Jordan continues to struggle against the Knicks right throughout the season. Away from the ball, a call against the Knicks. A hold called on Rivers.
You hate to make a big point out of something like the first foul called, but it will determine how this game is played for Chicago. Whether the small fouls, the holding, if those are called, that's in favor of Chicago. If that's allowed to go on throughout the game, that will penalize Chicago from running their offense.
Apparently complaints by both Ewing and Cartwright in terms of lining up on the inbounds, and Darryl Garrettson want to straighten things out right at the start. Horace Grant says that sprained ankle feels even better. Here's Jordan. So he was 0 for 2. Cartwright blew the layup, but he was hit from behind. Foul committed by Charles Smith, who got into early foul trouble on Saturday.
Spoke to Bill Cartwright just prior to the game down in the Bulls locker room, and I had mentioned to him that we thought before Game 3 he was going to be the big factor for them. He did not have a real good Game 3. He said, this afternoon will be my turn. He stayed up last night watching an isolated tape of his play against Patrick Ewing. In other words, the camera just focused on those two the entire game to see what was going wrong with him, why he was having problems, not only the offensive end, but trying to stop Patrick Ewing. He thinks he found something out. It's the fact that Ewing has kept him off balance with forearms to gain space between the two bodies on the entry passes. He wants to adjust that.
And in the past, Cartwright has been very successful against Ewing in keeping him out of proper position. They double up on Starks. Here comes the trap, and the Knicks cough it up.
When you have the best defensive player in the league guarding the basketball and perhaps the second or third best coming over to trap you from behind, it can put a little bit of fear in your heart. John Starks heard the footsteps.
As we discussed earlier on Showtime, the single most important factor in that Bulls victory the other day, as Pippen went short, he thought he was fouled. The execution of the trap. The Bulls do it so well, the Knicks have shown to be vulnerable to the trap. Rivers with a nice move. Doc Rivers driving the lane. So the Knicks off to a 5-1 lead. Scottie Pippen had a terrific game in game number 3. Rejected by Smith. Cartwright recovers. Shot clock is at 5. And Cartwright to the sweeping hook. Starks pops it down. Good play by Smith to keep it alive. 2 minutes gone by in this first quarter. Ewing. He was played well by Cartwright. Jordan trying to get to the open floor, but the Knicks able to retreat. And we get a whistle on the play as Pippen was hit from behind by Smith. So that's a quick 2 on Charles Smith.
Pat Riley really upset with the fact that there was no call on the last possession down the floor. He feels that on the ball fake, Cartwright had contact against Ewing's body. He wanted the foul call. He's trying to establish things early on their behalf.
Anthony Mason will check in. Charles Smith and Scottie Pippen have some parting words. So Smith with the 2 early fouls, a repeat of Game 3 on Saturday. Picked up 3 early on Saturday. The Bulls 0 for their first 5 from the field. Cartwright met on the switch by Oakley. Here's Pippen with the step. Rejected by Ewing. A beautiful rejection by Patrick Ewing. Oakley with the roll. Jordan had it knocked away. Mason behind the back, and Ewing finished it off. So the Knicks get off to the fast start. It's the Knicks 7. The Bulls 1.
You're talking with some of the Knicks players. One of the areas of concentration for them was to slow down Scottie Pippen. He has had an outstanding series up to this point. They want to pay special attention to him. Well, already, as Patrick Ewing is hit with a technical foul for having a little bit too much to say. And I think it goes back to when we mentioned Pat Riley was upset when there was no call against Ewing on the low post possession that he had.
Ewing was also called for that last foul, although he took a good shot from Cartwright, and he was also angry about that. Michael Jordan will shoot the technical. Michael, 16 of 17 from the line in Game 3.
On the way down, you try and establish position. Ewing tries to get there to keep Cartwright out of the post. Cartwright runs right into him. Ewing felt it should have been a foul on Cartwright. It didn't go that way.
The Knicks 7, the Bulls 2. The Bulls looking for their first field goal. 3 minutes have gone by. Jordan gave it up as he was picked up by a double team. Here's Armstrong. Armstrong again. Yes. Chicago missed their first 7 shots. The trap again being executed. This time the Knicks get it across.
And Pat Riley encouraging his team, get the ball on the floor. Hurry up and get it up so we have more time to operate our half-court offense.
Oakley. And Jordan gets to it.
And you notice no one was rushing to pick up Oakley. They wanted to take those perimeter shots. They'll let him have them until he makes a few.
Although Charles has had success from the outside in the second portion of the regular season and through the playoffs. Michael Jordan. That is his first field goal. The Knicks 7, the Bulls 6.
I don't profess to be a shooting coach, nor will I say that I can help Michael Jordan, but that time he got more lift. He got up in the air a little bit higher on the shot, which may have helped him get it in. He's been short on so many of them.
Ewing with a one-on-one move. And a foul is called.
Michael Jordan has been trying to get to the middle of the floor where he can be a scorer or a passer. This time he gets real good lift. It gives him a little bit better look at the front of the rim. That time he knocks out one of the rare jumpers that have gone down for him in the last 2 games. Excellent lift that time. He got the legs underneath him to elevate just a little bit higher.
Foul was committed by Bill Cartwright, putting Patrick Ewing on the foul line for Cartwright, his first. Struggling at the free throw line. 20 of 32 here on Saturday. Well, here's a close-up look. Game 1, 20 of 32. Game 2, 26 of 38. And the same 20 for 32 in game number 3 for the season, 74%, which is not good. And they are below that during the course of this series.
74% during the season made them 21st in the league with, guess who, Chicago at number 22 right behind them for the free throw line.
The Knicks 9, the Bulls 6. Grant from deep. Lars Grant turned it around in game 3. He's been bothered by the sprained ankle. Got into the offense very early, which delighted Phil Jackson. But he's so important in the Bulls' trap. That's where the sprained ankle is of great significance. They need Grant hanging back in the trap. Starks again. And John Starks with a 3-pointer and a 2. Starks gambled on the overplay. Jordan knocks it down. That's a 3-pointer. the Knicks did get it up court very nicely, but Mason was bottled up, and is fortunate the ball was knocked out by the ball.
Well, Jordan had just made a jump shot from 17 feet when Starks goes for the gamble on the steal and misses. Michael feels, well, let me see if I really do have my stroke this afternoon, and you know what? Looks like he does.
Urging the Bulls on, they have a 21-17 lead, a 20-10 run after the Knicks led 7-1 right at the start. They go right to Ewing, and he gets the roll. Will Perdue has come on for Bill Cartwright. Cartwright sitting down after picking up his second foul. Here is Jordan, and rebounded by Oakley. Michael Jordan now 5 of 10. He's the high man with 12 points. Starks. Well, John Starks never gets discouraged by missing 2, 3, 4 shots in a row. He has enough confidence to feel that he will shoot his way back into it. Starks with 7 points. And the game is tied at 21. Horace Grant has hit 4 out of 5. He has 8. Bulls by 2. It will be Chicago ball.
New York was so anxious to get the ball to Patrick Ewing on the quick transition post-up because he had caught Grant on his back rather than Will Perdue. They wanted to go to that mismatch quickly. Instead, the ball slips off his hands out of bounds.
Scottie Pippen has been quiet to this point. Now Jordan posting up, does not like the hand check from Starks. Oakley saved it, but it's recovered by Pippen. Pippen open, goes for the shorter shot. And that is his first field goal.
New York realizes that, rather Chicago realizes that New York is going to run hard at every shot attempt. They're doing a good job of showing the ball, putting it on the floor as the pressure from Chicago's defense produces another turnover.
That was a panic pass thrown by Doc Rivers, who has had trouble handling the pressure defense.
If you pick up your dribble too soon and your people are not in the proper positions, you're going to have a problem when you turn your back against Chicago. That's bad news.
The Knicks turning their back on that lead pass, although it did not connect. Here's Starks for 3. Yes! John Starks has 10 points. So as we come up on 1 minute remaining in this first quarter, the Bulls 25, the Knicks 24.
New York got off to a quick start. Chicago made its run and got back into the game. But if you're Pat Riley right now in New York, I think you're happy with the fact that you did not allow the Bulls to come out here with a lot of energy, get the crowd into that crazed mode that they were in last game, and you're right there around the even mark going into the final minute of the first quarter.
And at the other end, Starks called for the foul to put Jordan on the line. The Knicks are over the limit. John Starks and Michael Jordan, who are not the best of friends coming off the play in this series, and at times during the regular season, began game 1 with not talking at each other. Minimum of trash talk. Began to heat up a bit in game 2, and in game 3, we saw that melee break out that led to the departure, the ejection of John Starks. But I don't think they've said a word to each other, at least to this point.
I know it was interesting, the near melee in game 3 when we talked to Starks yesterday. He said, I don't really know what he was saying. And then when Ahmad spoke to Michael Jordan just prior to the game, I asked Ahmad, what did Michael say that was going on? And Ahmad said, Michael didn't know what was being said. So the two of them were ready to fight. Nobody knew what the other had said.
Just the facial expressions got each annoyed. Greg Anthony has checked in for the first time. Anthony replacing Rivers. Shot clock at 7. Here's Ewing. So Ewing goes outside against Stacey King, who just checked in. And the Bulls lead 27-26. Jordan for 3. Yes! Michael Jordan with 17 points. That's his second from downtown. I think Pat Riley will make the point that he's getting too much room. He's been able to find daylight with those 3-point attempts. Starks now with a 3-pointer, and John Starks with the answer. It's a shooting duel between Jordan and Starks. Starks has 13. The Bulls by 1, and they'll hold for a final shot as this first quarter winds down.
If Jordan can create, you'll have Pippen and Armstrong on the wings to try and make shots in the end.
And here is Armstrong from the wing. The basket counts and a foul. Greg Anthony called on that personal.
When you feel it like Michael Jordan does this afternoon, you have the confidence to come down in transition and take a three and make it. And then a little change at the other end of the floor. Starks finding himself wide open, gets an opportunity to come right back with his three. Last shot of the quarter for Chicago, a wide open B.J. Armstrong who came off a double screen down low. The feeder, Michael Jordan.
B.J. Armstrong, 5 for 10, 11 points, 27 minutes here on Saturday. He has had a good series, although he was a forgotten man in game 1 and then picked it up in game number 2. He's trying to complete a three-point play with 2.5 seconds to go in this first quarter. The Bulls with a 3-point lead. The Bulls lead 33-29. Pressure on the inbounds. Anthony fires from the backcourt. So that's the end of the first. A terrific opening quarter here in Chicago. Starks surveillance by the Chicago Bulls, and both Starks and Jordan have bounced back here in game 4. Substitutions for the Bulls. Trent Tucker, John Paxson, Scott Williams come on for the first time, and they find the open man, Tucker, for 3. Well, this is similar to what we saw on Saturday. The Bulls able to find the open perimeter people. Rebounded by Scott Williams.
And similar to Saturday, Phil Jackson went with a small unit. Trent Tucker immediately hit a 3 in that game. Again, this afternoon, he knocks out another 3.
Biggest lead of the game. Chicago by 7. Trent Tucker, the one-time New York Knick, now being guarded by Anthony Mason as the shot clock rolls down to 4. Tucker went down and lost it.
Looked as if his left knee gave way as he's right there, went down. I thought he had hurt his left knee.
There wasn't too much handling of the ball by Trent Tucker. That time it led to the turnover. Shot clock at 10. Starks lost the grip.
Another reason Tucker is out here is to play defense against John Starks and give Michael Jordan a break defensively.
Jordan squeezing his way. The save. Nice save by Smith. Anthony saves it again. Crowd wanted to travel. Anthony had it knocked away. Smith on the recovery. Not a very pretty sequence, but Pat Riley will gladly accept the end result.
Take the scores whatever way you can get them.
Bulls lead 36-31. Knicks shot 12 for 20 from the field in the first quarter. And the Bulls 13 for 28. So good shooting all around. Stacey King squaring up against Patrick Ewing. John Paxson went down, and a foul is called. Anthony Mason picks up his first.
What looks like is going to be another turnover at the last second. Greg Anthony able to come up with it, saves it, avoids another turnover against really what would have been an unforced error that time on the outlet pass.
Phil Jackson going with the combination of Stacey King, Scott Williams, and a 3-guard alignment. Michael Jordan, John Paxson, and Trent Tucker. Paxson had the terrific shooting performance in game 3, 5 out of 7 for 14 points, which represents a season high for John, who's come back from a couple of knee operations. 3-second violation. And a timeout has been taken. Scott Williams arguing the call with Darryl Garrettson. Michael now sitting down. Pippen has returned. 2 minutes gone by in the second. The Bulls 36, the Knicks 31. Mason posting up on Williams. Anthony Mason to the fadeaway for his second field goal. And the Knicks are now within 3 points. Paxson guarded by Anthony. Tucker being played by Starks. Here's Pippen getting inside. That's his second field goal. Chicago 38, New York 33. Trent Tucker is a very good defensive player, and he is now going up against John Starks. Patrick Ewing showing a quick release to again bring the Knicks within 3.
And you can see New York trying to force more pick and roll situations, something that they got away from, or whether you give Chicago credit for better defense in Game 3. New York didn't use the pick and roll as much in Game 3. They're back to it here this afternoon.
Nice tip by King. So Stacey able to follow up on that initial shot from the baseline, and the Bulls lead 40-35. King gambled with the overplay, and it deflected off Ewing. Good play by Stacey King.
Stacey King has given Patrick Ewing 3 or 4 different looks down in the post area. The previous trip down, he fronted Patrick Ewing. That time he started on the top side, ran around behind him, came around on the baseline side, and it broke Ewing's concentration, and then a turnover.
Ewing has played well. Sits down, leads with 12 points. He's hit 5 out of 7. Anthony not allowing Paxson any room at all. Here's Scott Williams. Rebounded by John Starks. Starks picking up on the dribble as he was met by Pippen. And Greg Anthony fires up an air ball.
Change up, give a different look down on the post. King, who comes around on one side, then runs around to the baseline side. Ewing just loses concentration for a second. A little bit of deflection by King and the turnover.
I don't think Pat Riley was thrilled about that shot selection by Greg Anthony. Bulls by 5. And Pippen draws the foul. It's called on Oakley. That is his first.
And I think Charles Oakley felt that he had held his ground. It was Pippen that had come into him and initiated the contact. If you ask Charles Oakley, he probably would say there should have been no call at all.
Scottie Pippen to the foul line. Only a 66% free throw shooter, making his first appearance at the line. Off to the slow start with 2 out of 7 from the field. During the course of the regular season, Scottie shot 47%, average 18.6. He has had a magnificent series against the Knicks. 58%, that's the best shooting Bull. And helped by the sizzling 10 of 12 on Saturday. The Bulls 42, the Knicks 35. So the Bulls have matched their biggest lead of the game. Pressure, crowd wanted to travel. Smith for Oakley, and a foul called on King.
New York wants to attack the Chicago pressure. They are producing about 4 to 5 easy scores in the first 3 games. What they need is somewhere between 8 and 10. Is that a travel? He does pick up the back foot as he takes the step. Scott Williams tries to assist the officials a little bit. New York lucks out and gets away with it. Oakley gets the free throw attempt.
We're not seeing the same kind of relentless pressure. Phil Jackson turned it on Saturday, and it kept going through most of the first half, which is very unusual to go that long. Right here is using it the way he did the last couple of years. He's turning it on and off.
Sometimes it's the situation that allows you to get into your press, whether or not it's coming off a free throw, how many free throw opportunities you get, whether it comes after a transition score, and you can quickly jump into it from there. So opportunities sometimes present themselves in different ways at different times.
The Bulls lead by 5. Make a suggestion perhaps to Pat Riley to go 7 on 5 in practice as you did with the Atlanta Hawks.
Pat Riley's team did practice last week using an extra man, actually 6 against 5. Anticipating that they'd see a lot of pressure, trying to make it a little bit easier, that overload principle, make it a little bit easier come game time.
And again pressure, Pippen and Paxson trying to double up, but this time Mason back to help.
Riley that time turned to Oakley and just take it up strong right away. Stop with the pump fakes, initiate the contact, get to the foul line. You throw too many fakes, the 2-on-1 situation, the recovery by Grant, up, up, up. Instead of going right away, the travel takes place. Go up strong, go up strong. That's what the coach is saying.
5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Chicago with the ball at a 5-point lead. Pippen with the step, through the foul. Yes, and it counts. Foul called on Mason, his second.
Pippen uses the left shoulder to get a little space from Mason, then fades away at the last second. Chicago holds a 16-10 rebound advantage to this point. They were getting beaten by almost 9 rebounds per game by New York, so that's got to be a big plus for them and make Phil Jackson a little bit happier with their work on the glass.
Scottie Pippen not able to finish off the three-point play. Once again, the Knicks facing the trap. Bulls with a 44-37 lead, 6:40 remaining first half. Good work by Smith off the double team to find Mason, and the Bulls now lead by 5.
Pat Riley diagramming that hard dive cut to the basket from the top of the circle. Whenever Chicago double teams, they've been very effective finding that man whenever they get to that point.
Scott Williams stripped by Horace. Grant was right there, and Horace has hit 5 out of 6 for 10 points. The Bulls 46, the Knicks 39. Anthony and Starks at the guards. Mason, Oakley, Smith up front. Mason, rebound Oakley. Rebounded by Pippen. Here's Paxson looking for the jump shot, but picked up on the switch by Mason. Paxson was looking for the mismatch. It's Anthony guarding Pippen down low. Shot clock at 4. Paxson for Williams. Again stripped. Anthony has a 4-on-2. Starks at 2-point range. John Starks, 6 of 8. He has 15.
Anthony could have pushed it one more dribble perhaps and gained advantage in numbers and wound up with a layup. Instead, he knew Starks was dragging on his left-hand side. He knows Starks has had a good afternoon to this point, so he went with the pass back for the jumper.
Foul committed by Anthony, his second. Here comes Bill Cartwright along with Patrick Ewing.
Scott Williams giving the ball fake, starts to go up with the 24-second clock running out. The deflection takes place, and sometimes you just get lucky because you're in the right place at the right time. Another strip on the next strip down eventually leads to the jumper for John Starks.
Michael Jordan making his way back. Michael has 17 points, but only 2 assists, not looking to distribute as he did, as he said in a rare conversation with one Ahmad Rashad after the game. He was being used as a decoy in that 3 for 18 performance on Saturday. But he's been looking for the shots here in the first half. Grant had it knocked away. Jordan saves it. Paxson. And Oakley with the rebound.
John Paxson rushed that one a little bit. He saw the defensive rotation coming by New York, which is one of the points that they stretch. Get out on those outside shooters. In fact, in game number 3, between Paxson and B.J. Armstrong, they had 17 shots from the outside. They made 10. Thus far in this game, only 4 shot attempts for the 2 of those guys combined. So New York has paid special attention to getting out on them.
4.5 remaining. First half. Chicago has led most of the way, and they have a 5-point advantage. Cartwright. So Bill Cartwright is 0 for 3. Doc Rivers is back. Rivers and Starks now in the backcourt. Ewing. Rebounded by Pippen. Paxson has a 3-on-2. Pitched out to Pippen. Look out. Nick Pivetta with the foul call against the Knicks. It's called on Rivers, his second. The Knicks are over the foul limit, so once again the Bulls to the line.
Well, Rivers realizes that there are numbers against them, so he tries to take the foul out in front there before Chicago has a chance to convert a smart foul that time by Doc Rivers.
John Paxson in his 10th NBA season out of Notre Dame. Spent 2 years at the start of his career with San Antonio. This is 8th year with Chicago, making it back from surgery on his left knee. Played in only 59 games during the regular season. And we saw the deadly stroke return in Game 3. Ewing cuts off the rebound. The Bulls by 6.
There's a case of where because the free throw is missed, Chicago does not get a chance to go into their pressure defense.
Foul committed by Paxson. Non-shooting foul. Bulls committing only their second team foul. And B.J. Armstrong will replace John Paxson. Oakley setting the screen, and Rivers able to utilize it. Cartwright with the rebound. Oh, what a play by Oakley, but Cartwright recovered, although Cartwright thought he was fouled. Pippen, low percentage pass as he tried to hit Grant. Here comes Starks. John Starks accelerating to bring the Knicks within 4. John Starks with 17 to match the point total of Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen looked like Charles Oakley got a piece of it. The Knicks in the midst of a good stretch. Here's Oakley. He lost it.
John Starks knew that Michael Jordan was chasing him down from behind a moment ago, and as you mentioned, Mark, he turned it up just enough, accelerated, and took it in for the transition score. And then when Charles Oakley just had a little bit too much to say because of the turnover, he's hit with a technical foul.
So Charles Oakley is hit with the tee, and Michael Jordan will shoot it. Well, there were 5 technical fouls called back in Game 3. 3 on New York, plus the ejection by John Starks. 2 on Chicago. As you see, Oakley did not like the call. So the technical total, 6 for Chicago and now 7 for the Knicks, including an illegal defense back in Game 1. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the half. Grant had it knocked away. The Knicks very aggressive, but that was last touched by the Bulls. And the Knicks now call for time. 2:52 remaining. First half. The Bulls have a 5-point lead. The shot clock running down, and Horace has had the touch. He's 6 for 7, 12 points. Armstrong applies the pressure on Rivers. The Bulls lead by 7 with 2 minutes, 35 seconds to go in this first half. Starks just threw Smith across the floor to set a pick.
It's heating up a little bit right now physically. They are banging into each other, setting hard screens, and making contact on the screens defensively as they're trying to get over it.
Michael Jordan going to the baseline. Yes. 20 points for Jordan.
Michael Jordan's a little upset right now. A moment ago, there was some real hard contact as he tried to set a screen. He didn't particularly like it.
Pat Riley wants a 20-second timeout call. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the half. And the Bulls with a 52-43 lead. Here is Rivers. Mason gets it back out. Smith with the open shot. Charles Smith with his second field goal. And the Bulls have a 7-point advantage.
One more reason why Pat Riley was so emphatic. He understands that going into the half, he has to have a team that can believe they still have time to win. He did not want the Bulls to open this thing up to a 12 to 14 point advantage just before halftime.
And Darrell Garrettson with the call against the Knicks. A kneeing foul called on Patrick Ewing. That's his second.
Let's go back to a few moments ago. I said Michael Jordan was mad because he had set the screen, and Mason, trying to stay with his man Grant, tried to send a message to Michael Jordan. Don't screen me from the backside where I can't see you, or else you're going to receive the blow. That time Jordan not too happy about landing on the floor.
Scottie Pippen is now 3 of 4 from the line. Here comes Charles Oakley replacing Anthony Mason. And now a change. Patrick Ewing will depart. And Mason remains. Scott Williams back on the floor. Bill Cartwright has not scored. He does have 6 rebounds. Ewing sits down with 12. The high man for the Knicks. John Starks, 7 of 9, including 3 from three-point range. 3 out of 3 for Starks from three-point land. He has 17. And Michael Jordan with 20 points on 7 out of 14. Pressure on the ball. They double up on Starks. Oakley back to help. He just did beat the 10-second violation as Smith was fouled in the process. Scott Williams called for that personally.
Want to know what you can use against Chicago's pressure defense? A guy that just takes the ball and dribbles it right through the middle of them rather than being so concerned about picking it up and making the next pass. Now, it's easy to say. If you don't have somebody that can do that, then you have a problem.
Well, Scott Williams felt he had cleanly deflected it, but he's called for his second foul.
Sometimes you get a little bit too aggressive if you keep that hand wrapped around the waist and prevent or impede the post player from getting where he's trying to get to, then you're going to get called for a foul.
Charles Smith to the line with Chicago going over the limit. Smith, a 78% free throw shooter. Charles Smith acquired from the Los Angeles Clippers along with Doc Rivers, Bo Kimble, and that deal involving Mark Jackson. Played an important role in the playoffs, coming on strong in the 2 games over Charlotte. Game 1, 17 points, 28 minutes, 12 points in that Knick victory in game 2, but got in foul trouble in game 3 and did not see much action.
You noticed a couple of players whose minutes dropped down in game 3. Charles Smith was one, Doc Rivers was another. There were some reasons for it. One, it became a blowout, Riley substituted. The other was people had to be out there that could handle the press and cut down the turnovers of New York.
Doc Rivers with that steal. The Bulls have a 7-point lead. Final minute, first half. Shot clock at 6. Smith. Oh, Charles Smith. Now 3 out of 3. He has 8 points, and he's brought the Knicks within 5.
New York has done a very good job of maintaining their cool. Michael Jordan launches another three-pointer and hits it. And I was just saying New York has done a good job of maintaining their cool, getting it right back before the half where it's a manageable number.
Third three-pointer for Jordan. He has 23 points. Mason. And he was pushed. Mason with the drive along the baseline. Foul by Grant.
Michael Jordan, realizing how much time is left on the game clock, figures they can get a 2-for-1. So why not try for the three-pointer, let New York come back and get a shot opportunity, and then give Chicago the last possession of the basketball before the quarter ends.
Michael has gone to his three-point arsenal. We saw that in the NBA Finals last year against Portland as Anthony Mason fires a brick on his first attempt. Greg Anthony is back. Charles Smith will sit down. The Knicks are now 6 of 8 from the line. Good job by Charles Smith. 8 points, 3 out of 3 from the field.
How about this lineup for Chicago? Think they're trying to launch one right before the half to send this crowd into a frenzy. You're talking about Tucker, Paxson, B.J. Armstrong, Pippen, and Jordan. Probably the 5 best three-point shooters that they have.
And the Bulls looking to hold for a final possession. They lead by 7. Jordan accelerates, took the shot from Oakley, although he felt it should have been an offensive foul on Jordan. I don't know, Charles might wait 4 hours next time he's at the Michael Jordan restaurant.
Michael figured everybody knew he was just going to run it down to the last 3 or 4 seconds before trying to catch New York sleeping, perhaps while they were trying to adjust their defense for what was coming up. If you're Coach Phil Jackson right now, concerned obviously that Jordan's okay, concerned maybe that he didn't hold the ball a little bit longer before he takes the last shot.
Oakley picking up his second foul. As we have mentioned during the course of our broadcast of the series, Charles Oakley and Michael Jordan are very good friends. That goes back to Oakley's days as a member of the Chicago Bulls. Now Oakley will depart. Smith is back. The Bulls seeking to tie this series at 2. And the Knicks looking to jump in front 3 games to 1 with game number 5 coming up Wednesday night at Madison Square Garden in New York. We'll bring it to you 9 o'clock Eastern time right here on NBC. Pressure by Chicago. Down to 7 seconds in the quarter. Starks with a bullet for Mason. What a play. John Starks and Anthony Mason combining. The Bulls now lead by 7. 2 7/10 seconds remaining in the half. And that pass deflected out of bounds by Starks. So Chicago will have it in front court with 2 1/10 seconds to go in the first half. Chicago up by 7 with halftime looming. Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report coming up. Pippen inbounds, gets it to Jordan, who turns and fires. And Jack Neese blowing the whistle. He called a foul. Foul on Greg Anthony. Now that is not a foul that you want to commit. Here's another look at it.
Because of the alignment, Starks takes the first man who pops out. It leaves a smaller Greg Anthony to guard Michael Jordan, who just immediately goes up in his face, knows he's going to get a good look. Then the contact on the arm by Greg Anthony. Jordan realizes what's going on. He goes up, the contact on the arm. Jordan will now go to the free throw line for 2.
Like that, a situation where you want to put some pressure on, but you don't want to make contact or come close enough where the official might think you've made contact. And Anthony called for that foul. 6/10 of a second remaining. Jordan to the free throw line, converting his 26th point. Here's Will Perdue for Scott Williams. The Bulls lead by 8.
Of course, his jumper's going down today. He's not getting as many free throw attempts. 16 for 17 in game number 3.
Anthony sidearms it off the mark. That's the end of the first half here. Face guarding Jordan and apparently made contact. Second committed by Starks.
Top of the circle, toughest area to play Michael Jordan because he can go both ways. That time called for what looked to be a hand check rather than the face guard thing at the end.
Now Jordan with the room. Yes. Michael Jordan has 29. Chicago leads by 11. It is their biggest lead of the day. Ewing got the step. Oh, he just beat Cartwright and was fed beautifully by the entry pass of John Starks. The Bulls 63, the Knicks 54. Armstrong and Jordan at the guards. Pippen, Cartwright, and Grant up front. Jordan working free. Yes. Michael Jordan gives the Bulls an 11-point lead. Make it 31 for Jordan in a bounce back from the 3 of 18 in game 3 on Saturday. Smith is fouled. Armstrong over to help and is called for that foul.
You mentioned earlier that Jordan seems to feel it in the first half. Well, he starts out the same way in the second half. He knows that he has the stroke back, so he's going immediately to his rhythm. 1, 2 dribbles, get the legs underneath him again. Right now, 10 for 17 from the floor.
Michael has accounted for nearly 50% of Chicago's offense. Horace Grant with 12 points, Scottie Pippen with 10. The Knicks led by John Starks, 7 of 9 shooting, 17 points at 3 of 3 from three-point range. And Patrick Ewing, 5 of 10 for 12 points.
And as you look at the stat sheet, if there's one particular area that jumps out at you, it's the differential at the foul line in favor of Chicago. They've shot 18 compared to just 9, and they've made 15 compared to just 7. So there's the difference in the game at halftime.
Aggressive defensive work by the Knicks on this sequence. Shot clock at 5. Pippen. He thought he was fouled. Oakley rebounds. Here's Starks pulling up for 3. Smith hustles it down.
And Jordan knew he was going to go up for that one. He ran out at John Starks to get a hand up and challenge on the shot.
Rivers surprised to find the double team. Ewing open. Ewing goes to the drive. Pippen rebound. Nice move by Starks, cutting Jordan's move. Jordan tried to put the ball on the floor to the right. Traveling violation called on Scottie Pippen. Patrick Ewing has missed 4 of his last 5 shots. Started strongly, but has not been a presence.
Well, the one player I think has to assert himself a little more is Doc Rivers. Not only run the show, but he's got to get some points as Chicago comes up with the steal and now gets into transition.
Jordan, Pippen saved that pass, gets it to Armstrong. And it will be Knicks ball.
I was mentioning Doc Rivers, who in the first half played 16 minutes, 1 for 3 for the floor, only 1 turnover. The key guy for keeping New York in its tempo as the pressure from Chicago forces another turnover on the inbound pass. Oakley and Starks talking it out. Settle down. Let me do my job. You do your job. Get back under control. This crowd can tend to take you out of things quickly.
Little intramural squabble, which we have seen from time to time on the part of the Knicks off that inbounds pass, facing the pressure. So the Knicks turn it over. Chicago with another opportunity. 3 minutes gone by in the third. Michael Jordan has come out shooting here in the third quarter. Nice setup. Grant from Pippen. The Bulls by 11.
Realize that it's not Chicago just having a great first half, shooting almost 49% against the league's best defense. They scored 61 points. Remember, they had 62 at halftime in Game 3. New York, as Oakley hits a jumper, shot actually 54%. That's a pretty good half of shooting the basketball, but it's trying to stop Chicago's offense where they're having a problem.
Jordan changed his mind. Shot clock at 5. Jordan stopped by Ewing. And Dick Pavetta with the whistle. Foul call on Jordan. That is his first.
Jordan got himself pinned in the corner. New York kept coming at him. The big arms of Ewing stretched out there. Jordan trying to reverse it back out to his teammate. Turnover, and then the foul.
And Doc Rivers was having trouble against the trap, and a foul called on Armstrong. Doc has been an enormous spark in the playoffs, offensively and defensively. The hero of the clinching Game 4 in Indiana. 21 points at 4 from downtown. Played well against Charlotte. He's hit a number of clutch shots during the season, but has not been able to get going the last couple of games against the Bulls. Charles Smith. Oh, what a move by Smith. The rebound and then connecting on the reverse. Smith has 12. The Bulls now lead by 7, and Phil Jackson wants to talk it over. Timeout taken with 8 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Shot clock is down to 5. Here's Jordan. And the Bulls now lead 69-60. 33 points for Jordan. .7:20 remaining, third quarter. Smith. Here's Starks, that's 2-point range. John Starks with 19.
In that last timeout, Ahmad overheard Phil Jackson telling his team, let's put our energies more into the defensive end of the floor and not let New York get back into the game. We're paying a lot of attention to scoring a lot of points. We're letting our defense slip a little bit.
Foul on Oakley, his third. Bulls now with Cartwright, Grant, Pippen up front. Armstrong and Jordan in the backcourt. Michael Jordan beating John Starks. 35 for Jordan.
Tremendous patience that time by Scottie Pippen. First option he let go by. Second option he let go by as he tried to get it in. And then with the 5-second count closing in, he threw the lob to Jordan down low.
Jordan got the step. Bill Cartwright felt he was being pushed aside and had some words for Darryl Garrettson. Chicago by 7. Over the years, we have seen Michael Jordan have a number of magical performances. We are moving in that direction. Pass intended for Jordan. Here's Starks for Oakley. Nicely done. And the Knicks are within 5 with just under 6 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
The crowd wants to see one of those surges, which normally is spearheaded by Chicago's defense. The crowd has been relatively quiet during the last couple of minutes.
And then in contrast to the sound of the crowd here on Saturday, Cartwright is fouled. Fouled by Ewing. That's 3 on Ewing. And Bill Cartwright to the line. He's 1 of 2 from the foul line. So the Bulls now lead 72-66.
New York will start both guards back close to half court, anticipating that Chicago may go into the press. Then they sprint their guards up to the basketball, trying to create space for them to work in on the inbounds pass. Here goes Rivers on his way up. There's the cross by Starks as they inbound with relatively little pressure.
And Rivers able to move it across with the left-hand dribble. Rivers and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing, Smith, and Oakley up front. That pass picked off by Jordan. And a foul called on Rivers.
Foul takes place in the backcourt, so they will not call a clear path to the basket. Starks went out towards the sideline more. You can see Rivers anticipating the curl to the inside, so Doc fouls to stop the fast break.
Chicago with a 7-point lead. And a foul is called. And that is number 4 on Rivers.
On his way for a score. No need for that foul call. Just let it go.
Mike Anthony getting set to replace Doc Rivers with the Knicks over the foul limit. B.J. Armstrong to the line. He's 1 for 1 from the line. 86% free throw shooter. So Rivers will sit down. 4 on Rivers, 3 apiece on Ewing, Oakley, and Anthony, while the Bulls in good shape. 2 apiece on Cartwright, Armstrong, and Williams. Doc Rivers only one field goal, 1 of 3 from the field.
He was 1 for 4 in game number 3. So when Rivers has struggled, so have the Knicks.
Here's the pressure. Oakley not the man you want handling it, although he got it down for Starks. Offensive foul. Well, the fans here in Chicago have seen John Starks out of control, and his Knicks teammates wanted to be certain that they calm him down immediately. Apparently he's all right. He has kind of accepted the call.
Well, New York tried to attack the press that last time. They had the right idea in mind, but Starks tried to do it all by himself. Pippen rotated back in time, got position.
3 fouls on Starks. Jordan for 3. Yes! Pat Riley wants a timeout. Michael Jordan with 47-point game. May of '89. He has 38 and counting right here.
Yeah, and Scoop Rashad just came out of that last time out and told me that's exactly what Phil Jackson reminded the team of, is that don't rely on Michael's heroics alone. Get back into the half-court offense, run the set so we can get some stuff for other people off of the attention that Michael's drawing.
That is the other side of the picture, as opposed to distributing the ball during his 3 for 18 game on Saturday when he had 11 assists, only 2 assists here today. Good play by Pippen. Oakley is there to put it away. Pippen blocked Ewing. Ball 77, and the Knicks 68. 4 minutes remaining in the third. Grant and Starks gets to it. Starks and Anthony in the backcourt. Ewing, Oakley and Smith up front. And a foul is called, and Jordan is upset. He claims he was kneed. Jordan picks up his second.
Michael Jordan takes pride in his defense. He feels that time that the leg by Ewing stuck out there prevented him from getting over the top of that screen. He doesn't like the fact that Ewing put the right leg out, in his opinion. Now, in the official's opinion, Ewing's going to shoot 2 free throws. Doesn't matter what Michael thinks.
Ewing 3 out of 4 from the line, a 72% free throw shooter. Well, no talk today of that injured right wrist. Michael Jordan, 13 of 20 from the field for his 38 points. 3:45 remaining in the third. Chicago 77, New York 70. The Bulls hoping to tie the series at 2. Jordan played well by Starks. Jordan for 3. Making 41 for Jordan. Pippen with the steal. Armstrong for 3. The Bulls 80 and the Knicks 70.
If BJ puts that one in, it might have been curtains with this crowd getting into it. That might have finished them right there.
It will be Chicago ball. Michael Jordan in the third quarter, 6 for 6, 14 points, 14 of his 41. 41 of the Chicago 80 points. Here's Jordan, and he'll go to the line. It's not as if John Starks is a guy who struggles defensively. We're talking about a player who is on the second all-defensive team and who plays Jordan very well. Hand checks him, makes it difficult. But Michael has been unstoppable here today.
Yeah, there must be a reason why Jordan has led the league for 7 straight seasons in scoring. So he has an ability to do remarkable things with the basketball at the offensive end. It doesn't matter who's playing him, how hard you work. Sometimes he gets in one of those zones, and that's where he is this afternoon.
He has 43. The Bulls lead by 12. 2:45 left in the third. Starks, good recovery by Starks, who was double teamed, and a foul committed by Grant. Second for Grant. Smith to the foul line. Charles Smith 4 out of 4 from the line. 13 points for Smith. The Bulls and the Knicks will meet in Game 5 Wednesday night at Madison Square Garden. We'll be on 9 o'clock Eastern Time right here on NBC. If they go to a Game 6 Friday night back here in Chicago, if the Bulls hold on and come up with a victory, there will be a Game 6. The Bulls 82 and the Knicks 72. Stark slapping for the ball, facing the head fake from Jordan. Yes. 45 points from Michael Jordan.
Mark, even with Jordan at 45 points, New York still is in very good position to have a shot at winning this basketball game.
And a 3 for John Starks. That's his 4th three-point field goal. So he has 22, and the Bulls lead by 9. Michael Jordan 7 for 7 from the field in the third quarter. Shot clock at 5. On this sequence, Jordan has not touched the ball. Pippen for 3. Rebounded by Smith. Alley-oop broken up by Grant.
Not a good decision. The possessions become important. If you're not sure, don't take a gamble.
Armstrong. Mason with the rebound. The Bulls with a 9-point lead. We come up on 1 minute to go in the third. Starks was open. Starks for 3.
Michael Jordan puffing hard right now. He needs a blow. We'll see if Phil Jackson gives it to him at the end of this quarter. He's worked hard. He's breathing hard.
And his shot went short. It will be New York ball. So that's the first miss of the quarter for Jordan, who has scored 18 of Chicago's 23 here in the third quarter.
When they're leaning over, tugging on their shorts like that, you can tell that they're fatigued. That's why Jordan's last shot was a line driver. He didn't have the lift, the strength in his legs. He needs a blow right now from Coach Phil Jackson.
Now committed by Pippen. His third. Both teams are over the limit. The most points ever scored in an NBA playoff game, 63 by Michael Jordan. He did it against the Boston Celtics, April 20th, 1986. He also once scored 56. That was against Miami in the playoffs last year.
That you have to take certain holes and stands along the way, not to let this thing open up as it did back in Game 3. They've done an excellent job of that. They're within striking distance going into the last quarter.
Mason with 11 points. The Knicks are down by 7. Michael Jordan now sitting down. John Paxson, Trent Tucker checked in. Here's Pippen. Tucker gets to it. And a foul is called. Knicks try to trap Tucker. Foul on Mason, his third. Trent rarely goes to the free throw line. 18 for 22 from the line during the season. There's Scott Williams. Trent Tucker spent 9 years with the Knicks, then on to San Antonio briefly and Chicago. He had asked Bulls general manager Jerry Krause for a tryout during minicamp and was signed as a free agent. Well, the Bulls get it back, and they'll now hold for a final shot. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Down to 5. Pippen's pass picked off by Anthony. Starks gets it off. After 3, the Bulls 85, the Knicks 77. As this fourth quarter gets underway, Jordan with 44 points. 13 of 20 from the field. I'll make that 15 of 23 from the field. And he had 18 of his 45 in the third. It counts, and the foul. Patrick Ewing will go to the line.
To show the concern that Phil Jackson had for the fact that New York was hanging around. After the pick and roll situation develops, Ewing steps back, takes it to the basket, strong, converts, and the opportunity for three. But the concern of Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan got a very brief rest, then the time in between quarters, and now Jordan is back on the floor again. Normally he may have sat another 2 minutes to catch more of a blow, but Jackson understands that New York has hung around dangerously here after the first 3 quarters.
And the downside, as we touched on earlier, the fact that the rest of the team not able to get into it. We have not seen the same kind of ball distribution. An upside and a downside when one player is scoring that many points. Jordan again! A three-pointer from Michael Jordan. He's 5 of 6 from downtown. Chicago. Jordan knocked it away. Here's Jordan for 3. Michael with 48 points. And again looking to do it from long range. He's 5 for 7 from three-point land. Paxson off another turnover. Fourth. Jordan. Yes. He has 50. Michael Jordan with 50 points, and the Bulls lead by 11.
So just when you get it back to 5 and you think you have a chance, you turn it over twice, and suddenly you look up and it's an 11-point game.
Against the Bulls. This is the 6th time in the playoffs that Michael Jordan has scored 50 or more.
The idea is to make him put it on the floor so he can't get his feet set, make him try and beat you off the dribble. So the first time he sticks it standing still, the next time after one quick dribble, he gets enough room to still elevate and get a shot.
The most three-point field goals in a playoff game. Chuck Person hit for 7 for Indiana and Boston in April of '91. Here's Mason battling inside. Anthony Mason with a strong move. He has 13, and the Bulls now lead 90-81. 2.5 gone by in the fourth quarter. Tucker for 3. And a loose ball foul is called.
Everybody wants to jump on board and be associated with Mike. Well, how about this little rascal right here camping up on top of Michael's head during the last time out? One of the teammates just trying to help Mike out a little bit. Just squashes the idea.
I have Michael Jordan picking up his 3rd. Jordan called for the foul. They try to double up on Rivers. Turnover.
There's nobody playing. Charles Smith, take a dribble to the basket, shoot a 15-foot jumper, get a score.
And Ewing gets it back. And Knicks with 16 turnovers. Chicago now with 11. Smith works his way in. He had a mismatch going. Tucker picked him up on a switch. And Tucker called for his first foul.
And that's what New York is trying to find, the mismatch in their favor. They had Smith camped down low. Grant tried to get over at the last second to help double team, but it came a little bit late.
Charles Smith, 6 for 6 from the line. Now Scott Williams and Scottie Pippen check back in. King and Tucker depart. Charles Smith has 14 points. Patrick Ewing, John Starks, the high man for the Knicks. Starks with 22. Ewing has 20. The Bulls 90 and the Knicks 82. Now Jordan is being guarded by Rivers. Jordan tried to post up, then changed his mind. Good play by Starks.
You see the difference earlier. Jordan had been operating on the outside, the perimeter, to get the jumper or come off the pick and roll. This last time down, they had him down to the low post area as part of the triangle offense.
Shot clock at 7. Shot clock at 2. Williams is fouled by Ewing. And Scott Williams shaken up.
The message was clear. No easy baskets. The patience of Pippen at the end, knowing the clock was running down, still has time to dump it off. Ewing not going to let Williams get the easy score.
That's 4 on Ewing. So 4 apiece on Ewing, Oakley, and Rivers.
During the regular season, Scott Williams, a 71% free throw shooter. In the playoffs, after the first 3 games against the New York Knicks team, Scott Williams just 62 from the foul line.
Bulls 91 and the Knicks 82. Ewing working against Williams. And rubbish Chicago ball.
Sometimes it gets a little frustrating. A great interior pass that time in low, but the swipe eliminates the layup attempt, and then Ewing trying to save it, can't decide whether to go after it or let it go. The deflection off his hand.
Scott Williams with the save, and a foul called on Doc Rivers. Number 5 committed by Rivers. It's a non-shooting foul. Second team foul committed by the Knicks. Chicago with 4. Bill Cartwright is back. Scott Williams sits down. Here's Jordan. Will it count? No basket. Offensive foul. And that is number 4 committed by Jordan.
Even with the offensive foul, he still concentrates enough to make this shot after it.
7.5 remaining in the game. The Bulls by 9. Here's Rivers. A tip by Mason. Anthony Mason has 15. And the Bulls now lead by 7. Checked to see if Pavetta was not looking. Starks apparently slapped Grant, and that's what set Horace Grant off.
What started it out was when Starks came up with the possession of the ball, as Grant ran by, he stuck out his rear end, trying to bump into Grant on purpose. Grant didn't like the fact that he tried to cut his legs out, so as they ran back down a little bit further, Grant just kind of sent a little message to Starks, who almost retaliated. Play goes by, there's the little message right there that he didn't like what had just happened prior to that. Grant kind of waving him off, saying, don't mess with me. Don't do that. We're not going to buy that this afternoon. Down and starts to go up. He sticks out his rear end, cutting Grant's legs out from under. Well, Horace doesn't like that, so he sends Starks on his way to the floor. Starks almost retaliates. Grant says, don't come over here and mess around with the big guys. Stay over there in the backcourt with the guards.
And in the process, Michael Jordan picked up his 5th foul. So Jordan with 5, Williams with 4. Darryl Garretson getting the players together to try to settle it down. I don't know about whether they had the ears wide open. Did not appear that they were interested in hearing it, but Darryl did what he had to do to try to calm things down. Michael Jordan sitting down now after picking up his 5th foul. Jordan with 50 points in the game. Anthony Mason is 3 of 5 from the line. Last time Jordan fouled out, November 22nd, 91, in a game at Seattle. And we have much time remaining, 6:58 to go. The Knicks, despite the explosive performance by Jordan, are down by only 6.
You can see the Knicks pressure defense getting up, getting after the entry passes now, more like the defense that they played in games 1 and 2 in Madison Square Garden. They've got the crowd silent right now, which is in their favor.
Shot clock at 2. Armstrong. B.J. Armstrong getting the roll. He has 8 points. The Bulls 93. The Knicks 85. Starks and Rivers at the guards. Oakley, Mason, Ewing up front. Rivers playing with 5 fouls. They double up on Ewing. They double up on Mason. Here's Ewing. Withdrawn on the 24. 24-second violation.
New York tried to initiate their post pass by starting out with a pick and roll. Well, that used up a little bit of time. So by the time they got it down low, and then Ewing gave it up and stepped back outside again, he did not have time to get it off before the 24-second clock had elapsed.
Paxson back for Armstrong. And a 3-second violation called on the ball. Now here's where the downside could hurt Phil Jackson and the Bulls, because they have not received the ball in distribution, and it's been, for the most part, the Michael Jordan offense. Now can the rest of the team come forward?
So the guy who has to create for them is Scottie Pippen. The 2 shooters of Paxson and B.J. Armstrong. Grant needs to help on the offensive boards, but their defense has to tighten up and not give New York any easy scores while Michael is buying time on the bench.
Here's Mason. Well, the Knicks have had their opportunities. Scottie Pippen wanted to run, but the Knicks got back. And Pippen is blocked. Fouled by Mason.
When Pippen secured that last rebound, he almost wanted to slow it up and walk it up, and Phil Jackson started waving him down the floor as if to say, hurry up, keep going. Watch Jackson at the top of the screen. He's waving his hand. Pippen turns and looks at him as if to say, what do you want me to do? Phil wants him to try and get it in transition if they can, rather than let New York's defense dig in.
13 foul on the Knicks. Bulls are over the limit. As we approach 5 minutes remaining in the game, good recovery on the dribble by Armstrong. Excellent defensive sequence by the Knicks. Shot clock at 7. Pippen for 3. Oh, what a rebound by Oakley. One-handed. Starks. With contact from Paxson, and a foul on Paxson. It's a block. Phil Jackson buying time for Michael Jordan, picking up his 5th, sitting it out right here.
John Paxson tries to get over in time to get the offensive foul. Instead, the block is called. Now, the best thing that can happen to New York, put points on the scoreboard while the clock is stopped. Just under 5 minutes remaining, Starks gets a chance to cut this game back to a 6-point deficit.
And the Knicks 18 for 23 from the line. John Starks, a solid foul shooter, 80%. The Bulls lead by 7. It is down to 6. Chicago gunning to tie the series at 2. The Knicks trying to make it a 3-1 lead in the best of 7 with Game 5 in New York on Wednesday night. Here's Armstrong for Cartwright, and he's fouled by Oakley. That's 5. on Charles Oakley.
Well, I mentioned New York's defense is back to what it was in games 1 and 2. They're up denying passes to the wings, passes across the top of the circle, and what happened that last time, because everything was shut out, they had to send the flash post. Cartwright, their big man, coming up into the high post area to relieve the pressure. Then they start running their cuts from there. But they're very aggressive right now, overplaying all passes.
Bill Cartwright had his problems at the foul line in game 2 in the final minutes.
There's the flash post and the back door attempt. That time, the dump down pass inside at the end. Cartwright goes to the free throw line.
And Cartwright has hit 4 out of 5 from the line here today. Bulls 94. The Knicks 87. Phil Jackson will have a decision concerning Michael Jordan very shortly. 4.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. When do you bring him back with the 5 foul? Rivers, wild shot, and back comes Armstrong. Again, the Knicks back on the transition.
Did you want me to answer that question?
Just a theoretical question.
The question was, when you bring Michael Jordan back, you let the time and score dictate when you need him back on the floor. If you maintain your lead, you can buy a little more time. If they cut into it, you bring the best player on your team back into the game.
Good box out by Ewing on Grant. Bulls by 7. And a timeout is taken by the Knicks with 3:54 remaining in the fourth.
In game 3, we saw Starks run into Pippen at the top of the circle. Here, coming off the baseline screen. Again, Starks into the screen. Hurts his neck that time. He's on the bench with trainer Mike Saunders right now, working on it.
The upcoming schedule in the East series resuming at Madison Square Garden in New York. Game 5, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on NBC. So Jordan is back. He's guarding Starks, who apparently is all right. Oakley off the mark, rebounded by Pippen. We're down to 3:40 remaining in the game. The Bulls with the ball and a 94-87 lead. A low-scoring fourth quarter. The Knicks have scored 10 points. The Bulls 9 over the first 8 minutes and change here in the fourth. Michael Jordan for 3. And that went way short. Jordan with 50 points. He's hit 6 from three-point range. Ewing, yes. 22 for Ewing. The Bulls now lead by 5. With 3 minutes to go. Shot clock down to 8. Jordan checking the clock. Can't find the shot. Played well by Rivers. How to force it. And Jack Neese with the call. Ball's deflected out by the Bulls. So the Knicks get it back. Down 9 by only 5.
Against the pressure defense of New York, I would think Chicago would try to get something easy. Flash post, backdoor, or cut down the lane to take some of the pressure off. But New York's defense has been outstanding. They go right back into Ewing again to try and get the inside game going.
Big rebound by Oakley, and he drew the foul. So Oakley will go to the line. 12 rebounds for Charles Oakley. Horace Grant called for the foul, his third.
On this rebound, the entire Chicago coaching staff was up. They can sense the urgency right now that New York is coming. They're coming. Their strength, which wears you out, eventually takes its toll on so many teams. If you let them hang around close enough, something bad could happen here at the end for Chicago.
Oakley now 2 of 3 from the line, a 72% free throw shooter. Bulls take a timeout. 2:24 remaining in the fourth. Michael Jordan in foul trouble has had a low-key fourth quarter. He's missed his last 3 shots. He has 50 points, though. That is only 1 away from the most points ever scored in the playoffs by a Knick opponent. Sam Jones hit for 51 for the Celtics back in March of '67. But the Knicks hanging around despite this performance by Jordan. The Bulls lead 94-89. Charles Oakley at the foul line. He missed his first free throw. 2 of 3 from the line. Chicago by 4. They've led by as many as 11, and they have led most of the way. Armstrong and Jordan in the backcourt. Cartwright, Grant, and Pippen up front. Pippen was pushed. Yes! Oh, it counts! A huge basket by Scottie Pippen.
Chicago had set the play up for Jordan in the post. He couldn't get anything going, so he cleared out, opening the side up for Pippen to drive right. Once he heard the whistle, it was just a matter of, let me get it up there. Maybe something good will happen. What happened was now a chance to complete a three-point play.
Anthony Mason called for the foul. 13 for Pippen. Bulls 97, the Knicks 90.
In a sense, you got to feel for New York. They've worked so hard to get it back to a 4-point game, and then a Hail Mary shot winds up going in, and now they're back down 7 with just under 2 minutes remaining.
Starks misfired on the 3. Jordan with the rebound.
They're going to spread the floor, run the clock down, let Jordan create from the middle.
Here's Jordan on the fake. Yes! 52 points from Michael Jordan. And the Knicks call for time.
When Phil Jackson opens his arms up out to the side, that means let the main man do his thing. That time, middle of the floor, all by himself. The ball fake gets Rivers in the air. He knows he needs a big basket. The team needs it. He likes it. Get to this point, and I'm sure it's a message that Pat Riley sent his team after Game 3 here. The fact that you can't get to this point in the season, work this hard, and then not feel that you're at least competitive down the stretch. A much different performance here this afternoon by New York as they responded to the challenge. They're right in the basketball game in the closing minutes.
However, the Knicks have hit only 1 of their last 8 from the field. They're down by 9, a minute and 20 remaining in the 4th quarter. The Bulls looking to send the series back to New York, tied at 2. Starks was looking for the 3, could not find it. Ewing has to settle for 2, and the Bulls now lead 99-92. Here's pressure by the Knicks. Cartwright gets it inbounds. Armstrong was pushed by Hubert Davis, making his first appearance.
44, Hubert Davis, his first penalty.
B.J. Armstrong, 2 of 3 from the line, and an excellent free throw shooter, 86% for the season. I mentioned the primetime coverage. Well, we'll be on the air every night starting 9 o'clock Eastern Time the rest of this week with an NBA playoff game. And that will start tomorrow night with Phoenix and Seattle, continuing Wednesday night with the Knicks and the Chicago Bulls. 22nd timeout is taken, so the Knicks with 1 timeout left, Chicago with 2. The story this afternoon, Michael Jordan, 52 points. The Bulls now lead 101-92. Light pressure by Chicago. Starks again stopped on that 3-point attempt. Blackman for 3. Way off. And a foul call with 57 seconds to go. Davis picks it up.
To try and emphasize how quickly Chicago's defense recovers and gets the shooters. You've noticed a lot of fumbles, balls that have dropped out of the hands of the New York players when they get ready to tee it up and shoot it. That's because they're anticipating Chicago's defensive players rotating at them, and you try and rush it to get the shot up, and as a result, you either miss or, as we've seen a couple times, you don't even get a chance to get it off because of the fumbled balls.
Bulls now lead by 10. 54 points for Jordan. And the Knicks take a timeout. Blackman will throw in. Starks has not been allowed to shoot the 3-pointer. That time he did, but he fired it from way out. And a loose ball foul has been called. Both teams are over the limit. It's called on Ewing, his 5th. Knicks are just trying to stop the clock here in desperation. They're down by 11, 103-92. Anthony Mason and Charles Smith return. The Knicks have missed their last 6 from three-point range, 4 of 14 overall. They're just firing them up in an effort to try to cut into that lead. High point men for the Knicks. Ewing with 24. Starks with 24. 16 for Mason. Michael Jordan with 54 points for the Chicago Bulls, who now lead by 13. Here's Blackman for 3. So Rolando Blackman hits the three-pointer. And the Bulls now lead 105-95.
So both players that we mentioned back in the open that had to step up for New York, Ewing and Starks, both with 24 points, have done it. They need a little support, some help from a few other players out on the floor.
George just playing the clock. It's time running down. Shot clock at 5. So the Knicks and the Bulls will resume at the Garden on Wednesday. The series tied at 2. Basket won't count. Will be Nick Ball. 18 seconds remaining. The Knicks playing so well in the first 2 games to take the 2-0 lead. Chicago facing a desperation situation for the first time this season. Won in Game 3 on Saturday. And it'll be back to New York, where, as we mentioned, the Knicks have won 27 straight at home. A standing ovation for the Chicago Bulls, who have managed to bounce back with the 2 victories at home. And they defeat the New York Knicks 105-95. 54 points for Michael Jordan. 18 of 30 from the field. He hit 6 of 9 from three-point range. 6 field goals from downtown, which ties the mark